Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be about the application process, the things you need to know before applying to law school. So I'm going to talk about the general application timeline first, and then I'm going to list the different things that I believe you need to know. Well, I don't believe, I know that you need to know before you apply to law school, to give yourself an awareness of what you need to do and all that good stuff. So I'm going to start off with the application timeline process, and bear with me guys because I'm trying to speak slower because I recorded this video, I can't even tell y'all how many times, but in my native speaking I speak so fast, and I'm trying to slow it down because it seemed as if I was fast forwarding the video while I was recording. I was just like, girl, slow it down, okay? So all right, let's get started. So the application process. If most law schools open their applications in September. So we're in 2018. So September 2018 would open the application cycle for fall 2019. So I would say if you're applying between September to November, December area, then you're applying early for the process. This means that you probably already have an LSAT under your belt and you are about to hit the ground running with either taking the LSAT in September or October if that's when they give it, because it differs. But anyways, yeah, you're early in the process if you are between September and November, December. If you are between January, New Year's, and about March, then I would say that you're on time. You're in the general pool of when most people will be applying to law school, and you have taken the December LSAT or you've taken the February LSAT. Most people say that if you're taking the February LSAT, you're taking it late and you're like super late in the game, and then anything after that they'll advise to wait the next process out. But I do agree that you need to at least have the February LSAT. That's the last LSAT to have a score under your belt if you're applying. If you already have a score under your belt and you have applied, then I feel like you have game to apply later in the process and still could possibly get into a school. I can discuss that later in a different video, how that works. So if you are a person who already has the LSAT and wants to retake and you're late down in the application process or stuff like that, let me know down below if you want me to do a video separate on that, because I have some experience with that and how you can still apply and be just as good as anyone else in the process if you have that information. So September to November, December is early. January to March, I would say, is on time. And anywhere between April and June, you will be applying late in the application cycle. And when I say late, I am not discouraging anyone within this time frame to not apply. If it is on your heart, law school is on your heart to start in that cycle, you have all your things prepared and ready, shoot your shot, go for it. Because if it is meant to be and it is God's will that you get into law school that cycle, it will. Late for anyone else is never late for God. If it's for you, then you are on time, no matter when you decide to apply. So please don't get discouraged if you do have all the things necessary to apply and you run into, April time frame later to apply. Just do it, okay? All right, so the first thing now on our list, number one, that I want to talk about when it comes to the things that you need to know before you apply to law school is the cost. And when I say the cost, I'm not talking about, let me try to slow down. When I say the cost, I'm not talking about, okay, school X costs $25,000 a year and then school Y costs $50,000 a year. I'm talking about before you get into law school and make a decision on one, how much it costs to apply. Because I think people forget that it is very costly to just apply to law school. So let's go ahead and talk numbers. I just want to let you guys know for 2018, prices have gone up with LSAT when it comes to registering for LSAT, your score reports, all that good stuff. So as you can see, I am on LSAT.com and I'm going to read off to you the new 2018 cost for the different services. So for 2018-2019 fees in USD, US dollars, the LSAT is now $190. $190 to register for the LSAT. Yes, it is. If you would like information on how you can possibly apply for free to the LSAT. I'll link below a video that I did that will give you full details on how you can get free money to apply to law school. The credential assembly service is $195. The test center change, if you have to do one, is $125, as well as the test date change. And law school reports are now $45 a piece. So let's say that you want to apply to 10 schools, which is typically about how much schools a typical applicant would apply to. That's already $450 out of your pocket that you'll have to use. And we're only going to one school. We can only attend one. So we're literally throwing money out there if you have to pay for it all on your own. I would hope that some of you will qualify for this option. Again, check the link down below to the video that I did on how you can get these things waived for free. But let's just say, I say all that to say this: it costs a lot of money to apply to law school. Second thing you need to know before applying to law school. So generally what you will apply to are 3-tier schools. You will apply to your safety schools. A safety school is basically a school that your LSAT numbers and your GPA is above their requirements. So let's say that their median is a 155 LSAT score and the GPA is a 3.5. So if that school is within your safety range, you would have a 3.6, 3.7 GPA with a 157, 160 LSAT score. So your numbers are above. So you are almost a bet to get into that school, unless you have like a terrible personal statement and everything else is garbage. But your numbers are going to guarantee you to get into that school. Your target school now is you're right on task. So you have a 3.5 GPA, you have a 155. That school will become your target school because you're hitting the numbers, and then a compelling application with your different information that you put in your application will basically determine your chances of getting into that school. Now, our third tier is your reach school. A reach school is where your numbers are below the median for that school. So you can be a splitter in this sense. So you can have a higher GPA than what they want, but you have a lower LSAT score, or you can have a higher LSAT score and a lower GPA. That's basically a splitter. Or you can be below both their numbers, but it is a reach school. Again, the same thing I would say when it comes to the application process. If you're late, you're on time if it's by God. If you have a reach school that is on your heart and you put in the best application that you can and you want to, apply to that reach school, because if it is in God's will for it to happen, no number and no one can stop you from getting into that school, and you will. So with your target, safety, and reach schools, that's gonna typically reach you about 10 schools. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and you want to give yourself an array of different options when it comes to law school. So that's 2. So the third thing that I want to say about the things that you need to know before going to law school, I'm going to start getting into just the requirements and a breakdown of the things that you need to do. So you're going to need letters of recommendations. There's some law schools that require none. There's some that require 1 or 2 or 3. But I have seen law schools, the max that they have required is about 4 letters of recommendations. So you want to take that into consideration, because you do need letters of recommendation. Number 4, you must take the LSAT or GRE. It is now or the GRE, because some schools, which you can research to see if the schools that you're interested in do take the GRE, they opt from the LSAT to the GRE. So you can take either or. So you have to have a reportable score from LSAT through the LSAT or a GRE score to enter into law school. The 5th thing that you need to know is that you need a personal statement. So a personal statement for some school is tailored to a question that they ask specifically for their school, or general personal statement topics are: why do you want to get into law school? What has been your motivation through or passion for the law? Talking about difficulties or obstacles you have overcome, what makes you a great candidate. 6 would be the diversity statement. So some schools ask for a diversity statement, some schools don't. A diversity statement is basically a piece that you write on what makes you a diverse student, what makes you a unique student, that you will bring a unique perspective to that law school campus. So a diversity statement can talk about the fact that you might come from immigrant background, or you were born outside of the country, different things, race, ethnicity, things of that nature, difficulties, socioeconomic, issues that you've had in your life, things like that. Something that will make you diverse. And I think that is a compelling piece of information that a lot of law schools try to key on in 2018, because as you know, almost all law schools, institutions in America right now is keying in on diversity, because no one wants to be labeled, that school or that institution that does not embrace everyone. So whether it be you're a part of the LGBT community, whatever it is that makes you diverse, schools typically want to hear that, and they will allow for a diversity statement. Number 7, an addendum. So this is not a requirement, but this is an item that you might need before to think about before you enter into law school. If you already have an LSAT under your belt and it's low, you need to just explain to the admission council why your LSAT score or your GPA might be low. So you would write an addendum, and that will justify the reasoning behind those scores, because obviously they get your score report, they can't tell whether or not you were sick that impacted your GPA one semester in school, or you had a horrible day, test center issues, or whatever the case may be that impacted your LSAT score. An addendum is what you would write in order to give a written explanation as to what happened there. 8, I believe I'm on. I think I just lost count. But 8 is a character fitness if you do have any priors. So if you've gotten in trouble with the law before, they will definitely ask for a character fitness that you have to submit during the application process. So if that is something that you would have to sort out, start thinking about that now before you do apply to law school. 9, proof of residence. So if you are an in-state person and you want to stay in state, great. Out of state, it doesn't matter. You need to show proof of residence, because obviously for some schools, if they're public schools, your residency affects how much you're going to pay. If it's private, it's one set fee. So things that you would need to have beforehand, try to get the information, is your driver's license that can verify your proof of residence, and your voter's ID. So if you don't have that, you might want to call your voter's registration office and try to get your voter's ID's registration number and things of that nature, because those 2 items can verify you or authenticize. That's not a word. Is that a word? Those 2 items can verify your residency. So you want to get those in. 10, a resume. You will need a professional resume. Things that shows your degree that you have, your involvement, your professional involvement, any skills, your attributes, just to showcase yourself in a professional light. You'll need a professional resume. So please do work on your resume if you're in undergrad, and even if you're a gap student right now, your resume can still use work no matter what, whether it be volunteering extra or different certifications, whatever it is. Just try to improve that resume as much as you can for the application process. 11, and this probably should have been in the beginning, but obviously you're going to need a GPA. And when I say a GPA, of course, I mean a reasonably decent GPA. If you are applying to law school with 1.9, you're not getting into law school, and to me that's not a GPA. So you're gonna need a GPA, you know what I mean, to get into law school. Not to knock anyone if you had circumstances that had that. Like I said, you have an addendum, so you can speak about that if you do fall into that category, but you'll need a decent GPA from your bachelor's degree to apply to law school. And I want to emphasize on that because I don't know, I've seen people who have the misconception that if they go to grad school, their grad school. Yes, so you will need a GPA. And the last thing is a transcript. The transcript that must be sent to LSAT has to be an official transcript from your university. You cannot receive it from a university and send it off to LSAC. You would have to have the university send it directly to LSAC. So those are the things that you need to know before applying to law school. If you compile all these things beforehand, trust me, you are way ahead of the curve if you are even in the cycle before the cycle that you want to apply. So I hope that this video gets you at the time that is gonna allow you to be super prepared for your application process. And if it's not and you're about there, I hope you have all these things already together, and good luck in your application cycle. Please don't forget to thumbs up this video if you found this video helpful and you would like future content like it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, as I will be releasing more helpful videos to help you guys throughout your law school application process, and then vlogs and other videos while I am in law school to let you know how it is being a law student. I hope you come back again and again and again, and will support.